this month's featured artist on Mettalworx.com is Hellacaust. How are you gentlemen doing?
We're doing pretty good. We just played a fun show.
Yeah, kick-ass set at Westside Charlie's. They're over there running a fucking DJ right now, which I'm disgusted with, but whatever.
We're in Subway.
That's why we're in here in Subway. Actually, we're in here because it's fucking raining out. And all right, right on. So now this year, you guys are actually celebrating your 13th anniversary. And actually, in just a couple of days, you're doing the 13th anniversary celebration with Codice and Igniter, is it? Yeah. Did you guys ever think you would get this far when you first started up?
Yes and no. I mean, when we first started, it was just going to be a one-off thing, but we loved it, so we just kept going and going and going. We hope to keep going.
Right on. Do you guys actually remember your first show?
Yep. Pretty clearly. We did all covers, though. We only had one song called Hellacaust, and the song title kind of came before the band name, actually, but yeah, we played all covers of like Slayer and Bathory and Mayhem and stuff like that, and then did another show a few months later, and then started writing our own songs. And
now, at least most of you guys have other projects that you guys do off to the side, and a couple of you are in like 4 bands and that. Does that help keep, you know, the music for Hellacaust fresh? You know, just having other outlets for other ideas, or is it?
Well, when I've been in other projects, I've always done something basically completely different. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, you get in a certain mood to write for a certain band, and that's what it always was for me. It's just a different expression of styles, but you can ask these guys the same question.
yeah, I don't know. When we're writing our stuff, you kind of just know that it's for this band. We've had the band since we were kids, so it's just kind of second nature writing this kind of stuff we do. It's like, you know, I play in a lot of bands, but this is definitely like the most just naturally the kind of music I like playing, you know, so.
So basically, as soon as you come up with a riff that fits this band, you know it immediately?
Absolutely, yeah. Totally. And basically, if it's the four of us playing, it can basically be any kind of riff, and it'll just sound like us when we're playing it, you know, so.
So how has the scene, the metal music scene, and specifically in Halifax, changed since you guys first started?
Well, that's a big question. It's always been pretty awesome. I mean, the biggest changes are the bands that come and go over the years. You know, there's been a lot of awesome bands, but there still is a lot of awesome bands. I don't know that it has all changed that much. There's been cycles of good times and bad times, and the last 5 or so years have seemed to be pretty awesome times in Nova Scotia for metal.
So you guys finding that there's more styles, kind of like different kinds of bands, or has it been varied over the time that you guys have been together?
Really varied. I mean, you don't have like a whole bunch of bands playing one style at all because there's just not enough people in Halifax. So, you know, the bands that you do get are usually pretty varied, and shows are always pretty varied. And you know, every type of band kind of supports each other, so it's the way it should be. So.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing that I've found is that there just seems to be a brotherhood, like everybody. I mean, even if you don't know them well, you just know who they are, and you just... Yeah, and it just seems to be a mutual respect for all the metalheads, and where in other places I think it's not quite like that. You know, do you kind of feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we've definitely encountered when you get into some of the bigger cities. They have enough people to support, you know, more isolated tastes in music, and there's a lot more selection out there. But where Halifax is small and we have a smaller selection, you know, everyone just gets together and parties and loves hearing the heavy tunes.
Is there any highlights, like any moments that kind of stand out, like that was especially memorable for you guys over the last 13 years?
Oh, it's another big one. Going across Canada on tour was pretty awesome. That was definitely a hell of an experience to go and, you know, spend 5 weeks in a bus and just travel around the country. That was really awesome. And, you know, we got to share the stage with some really awesome bands. Some that were like, you know, really big influences like Suffocation, and get Macabre in there, and all kinds of wicked bands that we played with.
Graham, do you have a specific memorable moment?
A lot of them don't necessarily have a a lot of them aren't necessarily when we're playing or whatever. I kind of think of like the Impaled Nazarene show in Halifax. We played that show, but it was seeing Impaled Nazarene playing in Halifax. That was great about it.
Well, that's still a highlight, though.
Yeah, playing those shows is great, but the best part is seeing those bands in our hometown and, getting to enjoy them with our friends. I love going out of town and seeing other bands, but it's nothing like seeing it with your buddies and in this, pretty small town. So you never think these bands are going to come play in our area, and when they do, it's fucking brilliant.
Now, there's still plenty of support for you guys, too, because, I mean, just about every metal show that I go to, I see at least one Hellacaust shirt. What do you guys think they're like when you do see, Hellacaust shirts, and it's like an old design, so that shirt's been around, that person keeps coming out and seeing you guys. Does that, still feel good, like, hey, these guys are still coming out and supporting after all this time?
It feels great. I mean, like I said, when we started out, we were just jamming in our basement playing cover tunes, and to come to the point where you can walk down the street and see your shirt and someone's loving the music that you're making, it's a really good feeling.
Now, you guys have been breaking out a lot of new tunes lately, and you hinted earlier that there's a new CD going to be recorded soon. Any details you want to give on that right now?
We think we just found a place to do it. Time and money is always an issue with doing stuff band related because we're an independent band, so it's all, we're paying for it by ourselves. So that's, the sad reality, but all it means is it'll take 5 years in between each album, which, I don't think any of us are moving or anything, so we don't have to rush. And when it also takes a while for us to write an album's worth of songs, so yeah, we are planning to record soon, and hopefully it's out soon. It doesn't take for fucking ever,
Well, I mean, and this is just my opinion, but I think that the new stuff sounds better than anything that I've heard you guys do in the past. Like, just the last couple times I've seen you, and the new stuff was just ferocious. It was just amazing.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, thank you.
Now this is directed towards you, John. Now you've been going over to Italy and doing a lot of archaeological digs and studying that. What got you started in that field of just interest in doing that, and then eventually going over and doing that?
Well, it all started when I was a kid with the old, the 60s Hercules show. Got me interested in ancient history and the myths and all that kind of stuff. And as I got older, and like what Graham was saying, music doesn't pay the bills, and it's something I really love to do, and so I pursued it through school, and I got the opportunity to go work on a couple of projects over in Italy, and I hope to continue doing that in the future, as well as doing Hellacaust.
Now, what kinds of stuff have you found?
This year we actually found some bronze armor just laying around in some farmer's field, so that was pretty cool. I've worked at actually a Roman villa, excavating from the 1st century BC. It was around for about 300 years, and there was a village connected to it, and a cemetery. Got to go check out those sites as well. It's pretty cool stuff.
Now, and one person told me that they thought that you were going to be leaving Hellacaust and moving to Italy. Are you shooting down that rumor right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on.
Actually.
Yeah. If I go, we all go. So.
Well, there's some great Italian death metal and metal, so I mean, you guys would fit in really good. Speaking of other bands, what other bands have you guys been listening to lately?
I've been rocking the new Sabbath album a lot. I've been waiting for that for the 13 years ago when.
Yeah, me too.
When we started, I was still waiting for that album, but that and a lot of Testament and some Tankard.
You, Graham, what have you been listening to lately?
I listen to all kinds of stuff. I was just telling Ross about a band, Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, that was recently introduced to me. They were fucking awesome. I listen to Motorhead daily and plan to for my entire life. And I listen to all the same bands that I've been listening to forever. I like Watain and Aura Noir and Niflheim a lot. Forever.
All right, how about you two down there? What have you guys been listening to lately?
I've been listening to a lot of Bathory, Niflheim, Black Witchery, Sarcophago, and BC band called Godless North. I've been listening to them a lot lately.
Voivod, ZZ Top, Celtic Frost. I don't know. Anything really fast, disgusting, and fucked up.
Technical difficulty. Well, that's all I got, and we're gonna have some footage from the kick-ass set that these guys just played, and be on the lookout sometime in the future for a new CD once they get it done. But I was thinking, like, I was just listening to the other day CD I picked up of you guys, Inevitable Dementia. So I'm taking that the sound quality will be better and everything will be up.
This one we're actually going to do in a studio instead of a basement, so it should be a step up.
Yeah, and Darren, I love the way you guys worded it. It was recorded in our minds and vomited upon you.
That's about how it goes.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. Oh, by the way, how many songs are we looking at for the recording?
I think we got 8 right now.
Yeah. See if we have any more by the time we do it, but
Yeah, we got.
I don't know.
A few other things in the works, so we'll see. It might get up to 9, maybe even 10.
Our last album was only 7 songs, but the songs are pretty long, so you're looking at 30 to 40 minutes anyway. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right on. So be on the lookout for the new CD, Hellacaust, Mettalworx. Okay, thank you.
Hellacaust! Thank you all for coming! This is a fucking ridiculous!